Welcome back to the hotchaipod. I'm your host, Jazz, and we're going to get into some spicy Bollywood discussions this week. But first, let's do our little catch up because we got a lot of tea. So, it's officially summer. Happy solstice, everybody. And I've been ready. This is probably the only time I envy, school teachers who have the option to take it off. I know a lot of teachers still, take other jobs or maybe they do summer classes, but like I said, it's nice to have the option and yeah, I could use a break. Speaking of, I've seen people on LinkedIn announcing that they're on a sabbatical. Okay, so I mean, let's all elephant in the room. I think at least some of those people are just unemployed, right? In this market, and I don't know, just it just seems like it's tough for some tech people. And okay, maybe some people really are on a sabbatical, and so they list it, right? Like they have their job and they have the end date, and then they have their sabbatical start and end date. Maybe it's 4 months, maybe it's 6 months. I've seen other breaks like that more recently on LinkedIn where they're like, oh, took time to be a mom or something. I forgot what that's labeled as. My friend was asking me if she should put that on her LinkedIn, and I advised, no. I think it's a nice option. I hope we as a society get to a point where that's more normalized, but for American work culture, there's just so many biases, and especially around women who are like of a marriageable age or women who have children. Why make it harder? So, okay, but back to the people who have a sabbatical. Look, I like the idea of a break. You get to explore some skills, hobbies, maybe you're taking classes, maybe you're traveling. It's like a creative time, but why are some of them posting like updates on LinkedIn about what they're doing? No offense. Isn't that kind of defeating the purpose a little? Like, you're supposed to be taking a little career break of sorts, just like a break from all the noise and the rat race, but maybe LinkedIn's more like Instagram now. So if you're not posting about it, then it didn't happen. If you can't tell, LinkedIn's probably my least favorite platform. I don't mind some tea on there now and again, see where people are working, what they're doing. But mostly, the jobs platform seems like trash. And there's so many like fake, like recruiter, baity jobs just trying to get people's information. And then the other side of it is everyone just updating how thrilled they are with whatever, lame job or work they're doing. Like, Matthew, you are not thrilled to be accounting in a medium-sized firm. I just know it. You're not thrilled. Maybe you're happy to have some money to pay the rent, but I don't know. I know I'm ranting, but it's been insufferable, and I feel like I've been on it more than ever, so maybe that's why it's affecting me. On a more personal note, it's always a struggle to like be in summer mode. There's a lot of temptation to just like, have rosé and beer and whatever. I know it is salad season. I'm not much of a salad person, but I do it. But that's not where my heart's at. So it's summer, but then I also feel like, okay, it's time to be super in shape. So I've been spending a lot more time working out this year for sure. And it feels good, and like I like to be strong, and yeah. But then there's a bigger temptation to be like, let's crack open a beer, let's sit by the pool, let's go to the beach. But I don't know, I'm just gonna have to work on that self-control, save it for the weekends, and just behave until I retire. So with that, let's move into our hot chai for the week. First on the docket is some kind of unexpected chatter, Bollywood-Hollywood crossover, about Priyanka Chopra and Nick Jonas. So she's been busy filming for a new movie called The Bluff. So she's been filming in Australia. I mean, the couple, they both seem to keep quite busy. He was recently on tour, he's filming something else, and then she has these different events and brand partnerships and TV shows, and now I guess this movie. They seem very, very busy, a power couple of sorts. does look like, I guess, just from her Instagram, that she keeps Multi, the baby, most of the time, or maybe she's just posting her more. I'm not a big fan if that's the division of labor, but we don't know enough, so we'll skip that rant. But the actual chai, so people are pointing out that Nick Jonas has been posting himself lately and he's not wearing his wedding ring. I don't know, is that some smoking gun? But I guess they're drawing parallels to how Joe Jonas, his trash brother, was acting before he filed for divorce from Sophie Turner. I feel like the argument kind of falls flat because Priyanka was wishing Nick a happy Father's Day this past weekend, but they're celebrities, maybe they're just saving face, or maybe like it's PR, but the photo she used was from a month ago, so people were like, not a month ago, sorry. The photo she used was from a year ago. And before that, Nick posted Priyanka and her mom for Mother's Day, so just like a month ago. I don't know, could things really be disintegrating behind the scenes? I feel like they're so image conscious that he would just wear the ring if they were trying to work things out or keep any issues on the down low. Also if it's summer, maybe his hands are a little swollen. I know my rings aren't fitting as well, the ones I usually wear. So I want to be clear. I'm not some Nikki Yanka stan or anything, but I just know so many people root against them and really don't want them to work out. And I see it from the Indian side, and I also see it from the white girls who wish that they were getting married to Nick Jonas or something. I think also some people can't stand the age gap, or that she just seems so happy and it's so in your face that some people think it seems a little fake, and hey, maybe a little bit. I don't know. I hope they beat the odds. We will be watching this story here. Speaking of couples, I saw a leaked audio invitation to Sonakshi Sinha and Zahir Iqbal's wedding that's allegedly this weekend. So we chatted about it. There were some rumors a couple weeks ago. I actually do believe it's happening, but unless that was AI generated or something, because obviously everybody has been very tight-lipped. Some people were wondering how her family has felt about her marrying a Muslim guy. But her dad came out to say he always supports his daughter, and today he was also photographed with Zahir. So it doesn't seem like there's any political or religious or any kind of major Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum issue here. But what was weird was that both her mom and her brother are not following Sonakshi on Instagram. Either they're having their own fallout with her, or it's related to this wedding, or maybe they just don't feel the need to connect with her on her public page. Maybe that's just weird for them to be fans. But I guess the worst chatter that's happening is, of course, there is a religious aspect, but that's inevitable. But more people are kind of discussing Sonakshi Sinha is marrying a flop actor. And yes, that's a harsh thing to say, and I guess it is the reality. I wouldn't say flop, I would say, tried and failed. He tried a couple times. Salman Khan, so I said that he was scouted by Salman Khan, but he saw Zahir dancing or something at an event and was like, oh, you should be in movies. So that's how he helped launch him. And he also helped launch Sonakshi, but she's not some superstar of an actress, right? She's not like a Deepika or Alia level, but she's definitely much more mainstream and successful than Zahir. Some people are like, it's fine. He'll go to work in one of his dad's businesses or something. I think he comes from, a pretty well-off family. But many other people kind of look down on the match because they think she's the breadwinner, she's more successful. So, okay, I guess we're going to get into this topic with a bang, and we all might disagree here, but I hope we can find some common ground because it's important to just point out the hypocrisy and the double standards around this whole discussion. We're talking about the bias that people have when the woman makes more money than the man she's marrying or getting already married to. Let's be real. Society has been spoon-feeding us this narrative that the man is supposed to be the breadwinner. Obviously, that's coming out as a function of evolutionary psychology and the man hunting outside the cave, though that narrative does ignore that some women did hunt and gather as well. Um, and that argument also ignores, yes, it's evolutionary psychology and biology, but things change over time and there's convergence of traits, you know, the more we grow as a society. So there are some like psych studies on this, right? Like, I won't bore you. I won't bore you. We could talk about it on another time. I digress. In 2024, women are out here crushing it in their careers. They have their own things going on. In the US, women have outpaced men in terms of college educations. So why is it still a big deal when a woman earns more than her partner? Here's the thing, teacups. A study from the Pew Research Center found that in about 30% of marriages, women are the primary earners. I don't know if that's just for the US. Yet there's still this underlying tension, and of course there is like the cultural component too, of like in India and what are the masculine and the feminine roles and stuff, and why, we're as a society we're telling men, oh, you have to be the top dog financially, and if they're not, it's going to mess with their identity, right? Because they're getting this reinforcement from society that it's not okay. So I can see where the pressure for men keeps rising up. And let's not even get started on family and friends chiming in. You know the type. Oh, isn't it weird she makes more? Or how does he feel about that? It's almost like, it's almost like people are looking for cracks in the relationship. But why? Why can't we just celebrate two people being happy together, supporting each other in their own way? We got to move past this. We have to let people do what they're good at or what they like to do. If the dad wants to stay home and cook and provide childcare because his wife works insane hours and makes a ton of money, why is that a problem? Why do we act like that's only demeaning to men to run a household, but not to women? That in and of itself is so misogynistic that, oh yeah, it's a demeaning role, so it's good for women. Excuse me. Here's your homework, team. Next time you hear someone making a big deal about a woman earning more than her man, shut that down. Educate them. Let's change this narrative slowly but surely. We're not just trying to break a glass ceiling as women. We're trying to shatter those old school stereotypes as well, because if it's hurting men, it's also hurting women who have to be in relationships with men unless you're lesbian. And I don't know, maybe have them watch that movie, Ki and Ka, with Kareena Kapoor and Aisha Kapoor, and it's talking about this exactly. The guy wants to stay home and raise a family. Let him. Okay, on a much lighter note, but with our couples theme today, it looks like Shraddha Kapoor has made it Instagram official with her boyfriend Rahul Modi. Gasp. So first she was posting her vacation stories from Italy, and then bam, she has this photo with her and Rahul and this very lovey-dovey caption, which I guess is her social media style, and people seem to like it. But some background on Rahul Modi. So he's kind of handsome from what I've seen. He's a film writer. Notably, he wrote for some Love Ranjan films like Sonu Ki Titu Ki Sweetie and Pyar Ka Panchama. And he's even been nominated for some awards for these screenplays. He's a Libra, and Shraddha is a Pisces. So that's an interesting match. And that can at times be a little delulu together. But as a Libra, I'm sure he appreciates that she's very open-minded and dreamy from her Pisces nature. Allegedly, they grew closer while she was filming Tu Juti Mein Makar with Ranbir Kapoor, which Rahul he also wrote for that film. Now, there were so many rumors swirling about Shraddha and Ranbir, and people were questioning if this timeline with Rahul is real, and so therefore those rumors were false. Or perhaps the opposite. Here's a hot take, but she could have been getting closer to Rahul while still hooking up with Ranbir. I know, that's unpopular, that's unsavory, but we can't ignore the possibility. And hey, don't lots of men hook up with girls they don't really want to date while they're also trying to court their potential wifey or find wifey? I'm not saying I approve, and maybe none of this even happened. But I do believe the Shraddha Ranbir hookup stuff from all the evidence we've discussed before. So maybe Shraddha was just cordial with Rahul like back then, kind of like a working relationship, maybe like a friendship, and it blossomed because it's been a while since they were filming. I think it's been a couple years. So now they're finally Instagram official. Maybe they weren't dating all this time. I hope there's a wedding announcement coming up because she would look really cute in some bridal look. So, yeah, we'll keep an eye out on this too. Finally, we have some box office recaps. So, Chandu Champion with Karthik Aryan. It is performing kind of mediocre, but it has received very strong reviews. It seems like people really love his performance in it and find it to be a strong entertainer. So I think the issue is that it's just struggling to recoup its very high budget for the film, which this is not a great look if Karthik has charged a super high fee for his role in the film. The surprise dark horse of the box office is Munja, which it's a supernatural comedy movie and it's quite the hit already. So I may have to check it out when it comes to streaming because it's definitely not in any theaters here. Speaking of unexpected, just last week I was asking, oh, when's Mismatch Season 3 coming back to Netflix? And okay, it looks like it was announced, so that's exciting. I love that show. It's very young, but I like it. And that's exciting, but to top it off, the main actor, Rohit Sharaf, he's in a film currently that's out right now. It's called Ishq Vishk Rebound. So it's a remake of the original Ishq Vishk with Shahid Kapoor and Amrita Rao, which back then there were a lot of rumors about the two of them and Kareena Kapoor icing her out of the industry. Apparently, this remake is the shortest Indian film ever released. It's at a 90-minute runtime, short and sweet. Whether it's a hit or a flop, I don't know. It's nice to see some fresh faces and like rom-com type of content again. So I'm grateful for it. And turn into teacup time. Today we have an interesting question from a listener in New Jersey. First of all, guys, thanks for writing in. I'm loving this quasi-advice column vibe. Maybe it's finally putting my psych degrees to use. So yeah, let's jump in. Hi, Jazz. I recently started listening to hotchaipod and I heard you answer a dating question. I thought you could help me with my situation. I'm 25 and I've been dating this guy for about 18 months. Do you think it's too soon to move in together? His lease is coming up and I'm ready to move out of my parents' house. I do have some mixed thoughts on this. Contrary to what a lot of our community thinks, I think 25 is really young, but not so young that you can't start considering marriage if you've been dating long enough. But to me, dating only 18 months when you're 25 and it's your first time moving out of your parents' house, maybe besides college, I wouldn't do it. 1, you don't know if this is the forever relationship. And I feel like living with a partner can be so limiting when you're young. Because when you live alone or with a roommate, you just have so much more motivation to be like out and about, going to networking stuff, making new friends, and it's easy to fall into like a rut when you move in with a partner and like, yeah, we always have dinner together and we watch TV together. And I know that's not the case for everyone and it can be a lot of fun. But it can also plateau the relationship itself where it's not clear if you're still like on the up and up, if you guys are getting closer, it's getting more exciting and you're moving towards an engagement. I know engagement's not everyone's goal, but then why bother living together? You may as well have some fun and live alone. So if you live together, it can either make that happen super quick, like maybe because you move in, you feel pressure to get engaged, or maybe it drags it out longer. So this isn't just from me. There's been some longitudinal research on the subject. People who live together sometimes feel pressure to get engaged, and then they can be more likely to get divorced. And that's because the hypothesis is that maybe they didn't dive in with real excitement and intention to get married. Rather, it was just easier to do it as a next step. So every couple is different, of course, and There are exceptions to all rules, but I also think it's very important to develop your own independent life skills and, how to keep a home and how to cook and how to pay your bills and stuff before you live with a partner. I think it makes you a better partner, and I think you get to know yourself so much more. And let's be real, you have your whole life to live with a man. Keep me posted on this, though. I am curious what you decide. And with that, we're signing off. Until next week, teacups. Bye.